me, Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most horse-powerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm so glad you're here because I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford. He's back, the meteorologist on a moose, and on our journey today. Talking about that there. Dang, Starfield, all of our impressions from our brains out of our mouth into the microphone, into your ears, right here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming on podcast services around the globe. So let's jump on into the Xbox Drive.
No power greater than X.
Hello, Sean Capri.
Ryan, it's almost like I took a month off because I kind of forgot how to do the intro a little bit there. What the hell was I supposed to say?
But you've been doing the intro the same the whole time.
I don't know what I messed up, but that didn't feel good.
This is just what happens when it's Xbox Drive After Dark, because that's what's happening now. Xbox Drive After the Dark, our brand new time.
After the dark. Yes.
Yeah.
TGIF, man. It's Friday.
You know, I can actually say that now because I'm going to let the folks at home in on a little secret. The main reason we actually switched the time is because I used to actually have to work every single weekend, but I don't have to work no weekends no more, baby.
I'm
off every weekend. So that's why we're here. That's why when you say TGIF, Sean, I would normally say, oh, well, it's my Monday. But now I'm just like, I'm excited along with you.
It's a Friday or a Saturday for Hoppel in the chat here.
That's
and
true.
For some of our international folks, we're an international show. How wild is that, dude?
Well, actually, believe it or not, Sean, whenever we do the RPG Cave, which is, of course, is an evening show as well, it also tends to be a very international show as well. Because usually
we're time traveling
when everyone's up, like Drellesh is just waking up at that time.
Yep. We're a breakfast show. We're a morning show now, actually. Yeah. We're rebranded. We're a morning show. Grab your cup of coffee. Well, that's what we used to do. We used to have people send in pictures with their cups of coffee and whatnot. But, dude, we're like totally bearing the lead. Where the hell have you been?
So I was on a little bit of a break from carpool gaming and from podcasting for a whole month of no podcasting, which was weird for me, Sean, because as we talked about before I went on break, I hadn't taken a break from podcasting since I pretty much started podcasting, where I'd done pretty much a new podcast every single week since 2014.
What a machine.
So this was really like the first time I'd really taken more than a week off for Christmas. And even then, Sean, when we would take breaks off for Christmas here at Carpool or Yumi Capri previously, I would usually be the one working over the holidays, actually putting together like the Game of the Year show and stuff. So this time around, it was actually an actual factual break, Sean, which was weird for me, but it was refreshing, even though I've got to say I'm currently feeling the old man pain, which is not a topic for this discussion. I'm literally right now, Sean, the meme of everything hurts. The old man meme, everything hurts all the time.
I'm sorry, man.
Sad. But at the same time, I am very excited to be podcasting with you tonight because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. In fact, I'm even wearing, because I didn't get to wear this when it came in, Sean, but I'm wearing my Xbox custom jersey that they made for me that has my name on the back of it, which
happens to be your gamer tag.
Which happens to be my neighbor gamer tag. Yeah, it's one and the same. In fact, I was a little bit worried because I didn't know if it was going to fit on the shirt, but it turns out they fit all the letters on Sean. It's very exciting.
Shout out to everybody here who's live with us at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to be live with us, Ryan, every week, Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to Yarden says, new host, let's go. And Hoppel, great question for you, Ryan. But even on your break, did you produce some videos, Ryan?
I stuck to my guns. I was very tempted to make videos on my break, but I decided not to. I had ideas flowing and I had like a list being built in the back of my brain, hashtag building the list. But I didn't actually make any videos over the thing, over the break. I mean, I could have, but I felt like Sean would have scolded me if I would have.
I was shaking. You just saw me.
Would have given me like
finger.
Something if I would have told him made some videos over the break. No, I took an honest to goodness break, and it feels good. In fact, I'll talk about that more because the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast. Speaking of the old Patreon, Sean, I'm recording that tomorrow when I wake up, and I'll be talking more about my break then because lots of people asked me about it. So I will be talking about more of what happened on my break there. I did the Final Fantasy video before my break actually started. It just so happened.
Good try, Hoppel.
I recorded it before the show, and then Sean and Donnie rolled it on the show, which was a couple days later.
That's right. That's right. That was almost entrapment. Hoppel
'Cause I
asked
was
the question,
literally-
did you produce? He's like, but I know you did something.
But I was literally on the train to visit my mom when that video was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Donnie, shout out to
Segue.
freaking Donnie Reese from PSVG, an entire month jumping into the Xbox Drive. And shout out to everybody who enjoyed a little bit of a different flavor, a little bit of a different take. Because there is no replacing Ryan Turford. Anytime that you have any sort of like swap like that, it's going to be a little bit different. And Donnie and I have a different kind of interaction, so we had what was our longest show? We were doing CFL
like
logo
3-hour shows,
guessing,
right?
yeah.
Fox
So
Drive across with CFL. What did you do to my beautiful show, Sean? Like what? I couldn't handle it, Sean.
you can't trust me with anything, honestly.
So I felt that it was necessary to come back. Donnie kept saying he was going to steal this spot, but no.
I'm not convinced he's like not in that room with you right now, and he's just gonna like kick you aside and just like hit you in the head with a chair.
He might bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man at any time.
I
Sean.
could see it. I could see it.
Throw something at me. Also, I love how Stingray brings up the Donnie beefing at Ryan's Final Fantasy 14 video. That reminds me, Sean, the second best thing that happened today, besides doing this podcast with you, is I felt recognized by Senpai because I tweeted at the Final Fantasy 14 account today, and they tweeted back at me because we were making cat puns because I showed off my cat umbrella, and they were like meowsers. They said meowsers. I didn't even bring it up.
Oh, we're right back, hey? Like we're right back where like you never left. Okay.
Yeah, you missed this, Sean.
Yep. No, I've been doing a different show the last month, and here we are. This feels okay. Probably feels no different to you.
You're just like, well, this is what this was like. Although we are, doing things a little bit different because normally, Sean, we'd actually be cleaning the garage right now, but we haven't even gotten to that. We've just been, talking,
just catching up, just old chums, just seeing what you've been up to. It's good to see you, man. I mean, we did the CPG BTS. We hung out over the weekend. We talked to Lee Navarro, but I mean, maybe that's just like getting into the garage. You're looking at the garage. You're like, that's looking a little dusty. It's looking like maybe got a mouse problem in there. You need to get rid of that.
And Garen and I had a really fun conversation on Monday too. So.
Of course. Yes. You've been at it. You've been back.
Yeah. In fact, this is the third one, Sean, and then the pants tomorrow. So yeah, it's going to be good, man. But we played some stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Just like we'll talk about James Cameron's Dark Angel. 1,
nice.
Available on DVD. Look, that's the only time I'm going to do it throughout the show. I just wanted to get it out of the way at the beginning. So Sean remembers what this show was like before I left.
It's like I had amnesia, and you're just trying to like jog my memory, just like these triggers, just like
I'm just trying to stuff your
I know who you are
in your brain, Sean. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Where am I? What's my
anyways?
Past? Who are my parents?
We should clean the garage a little bit. So folks at home, if you want to support the show, there's a number of awesome ways to do that. And number one, if you're watching the live stream right now, we're at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. Or if you're watching the video on demand later, don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, spin kicked that subscribe button already. Also, let us know in the comments below if you're playing Starfield and what you think about the game so far. And also, what do you think about Todd Howard's hair? Because we'd love to hear about that
There's only one right answer.
Yeah. Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to hit us with that rating. If you're listening on Spotify, or if you're on Apple Podcasts, maybe you write us an Apple Podcast review. Now, Sean, I forgot to ask you before the show started because I saw these Apple Podcast reviews on here. Are these new reviews, or did we go over them?
These are new. Worldwide, more than 100 reviews for the Xbox Drive.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's exciting. So we'll read through some of these. We're going to start with 5 stars from Crazy Legs 15, who says real people with real opinions is the name of the
post. That's us.
I love this podcast. The hosts are real people with honest opinions, and their tastes match up with mine. Please give this podcast a listen. A+. And thank you so much.
5 stars and an A+. Nice. Thanks, Crazy Legs.
The only thing we're missing, Sean, is like the belt for winning the spelling bee, or whatever trophy you win for winning the second grade.
I want a bowling trophy. Yes, please.
Oh my God. I only got the participation awards, Sean, and I cried because I felt like I never deserved
because you knew they were BS.
No, because I felt, Sean, when I was, because I played sports when I was younger, and I was never very good at sports, but I would get everyone would get a participation trophy, and I would feel bad because I didn't contribute enough to the team that I was even getting an award at all. So I remember my mom tried to calm me down because I was like bursting out crying because I was trying to return this award because I couldn't handle it. It was too much. But
And then
we usually went down
decades
to
later,
dark path.
he would go a full 10 years without taking a break from podcasting.
This is what happens. This is what
Okay, it's
happens.
all coming out here, Ryan. You can talk to me, man.
We also, well, I'm more apt to talk about feelings now, Sean. That's what I learned about over my break. I haven't even talked about the weather yet tonight, Sean, because look at that.
I wasn't going to bring it up. Look,
we made progress.
This isn't me.
Because we also got a 5-star review from ScheiGuy. Thank you, ScheiGuy.
Thank you, ScheiGuy.
Who says, brilliant. That's the title here. Xbox, horsepower, weather moose, genuine takes, positivity, good fun. Absolutely brilliant. Well worth your time. Thank you, ScheiGuy, for the nice
Thank you,
words.
ScheiGuy. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got many more to go through. People can help us rise the ranks in the iTunes and the Apple, whatever the hell it's called. Reviews probably help the most, I would say, on that front. It helps new people find us. Somebody listening right now, Ryan, maybe for the first time. So welcome on in. If you're wondering what the heck we're talking about, you can go back. It's almost all there. We've got a huge history of dang podcasts. We've been doing this show since before Game Pass exists. So that's pretty neat. So we got lots of reviews to go through. But if you want to support the show, like go write a short review or a long one, whatever you like. And it helps the show big time.
Also, I'm going to give a shout out because this happened. I don't know if you knew this, Sean. This happened for the very first time this week, to me anyways. The RPG Cave got its first comment on Spotify because comments on Spotify are a thing where people can actually leave comments on audio episodes on Spotify. That's a brand new feature that I think just rolled out this week. And I think that actually helps the show get some traction as well because we, the RPG Cave, for the very first time, we were in the top 10 ratings for RPG podcasts on Spotify, which never happened.
Gosh, dude, that show is popping off, my friend.
At one point we had 5 listeners, 6 months into the show.
I was one of them.
Now look at us.
Yep.
But then also, if you want to help us out, there's another way you can do that. Of course, you can head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming, throw a little tip in the old tip jar, just like MoSpankins did, joining at that gold level because he loves gold. Of course, you can go over there to get the Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast, starring yours truly, Ryan Turford, and also the other Carpool Gaming hosts on a rotating schedule. But we also got some other cool stuff over there as well. BTS.
Yeah.
We also got some other stuff coming down the pipe that I won't mention here. Stuff. And last but not least, Sean, head over to our website, carpoolgaming.com. Get yourself an Xbox Drive t-shirt or maybe a limited edition t-shirt that we got going on right now saying, I don't hate it or I like it.
I'm ordering my I don't hate it. I got to do that this weekend because they can get it pink. It looks like bubblegum. It looks like a bubblegum t-shirt and I like it very much. I don't hate it.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It is time for the playlist. And of course, we are getting to the topic du jour now. So I know that one person in the comments who usually writes the time code for this is when the main topic starts.
What's up,
This is your time. Your
Yeah.
time is now.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the games we played. Real quick, though, before we get to Starfield, Sean, I want to mention because
that was a just kidding on that topic du jour.
Well, real quick, like 30
Okay.
seconds. There was a game I was supposed to play before my break happened and it got postponed to my break, but I want to at least mention it. I played 24, the game,
hell yeah.
baby.
Mhm.
Yeah. Starring Keith Sutherland and all the other people from 24.
And that Allstate guy.
Yeah. It's from 2K. This game was surprisingly fun. I actually really enjoyed this game.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a 24 level linear game,
Nice.
just like the show, where it was
Yep.
basically like each level was meant to be an hour of the show.
I love it.
And it was super fun. I really enjoyed this game a lot. And despite the fact that I'm not like the hugest of 24 fans, so I want to at least mention
I'm
24 the game. Giving a shout out to that, even though it's not on Xbox. That was super fun. Again, that was the winner of my last tournament bracket. So there you go. Contractually obligated, obligation fulfilled. And now, Sean, it's time to blast off to outer space. Let's talk about Starfield. So I know you, Sean. If people haven't been noticing this, Sean's been going crazy over on twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live.
Yes.
Playing that Starfield.
Yes.
Pretty much at least once every couple days, if not once every, multiple days, like back to back.
I had a great weekend, man. I had a great early access weekend. It was very similar to Diablo, where like the early access, if it weren't for that, I don't think I'd have really much to say at this point, even though the game has been out for a number of days on the public launch or whatever. But I got the early access because shout out to freaking Yarden. Threw me a little donation, a little support over on Ko-fi. Anyways,
yeah.
Shout out to Yarden for the support, man. Because Ryan, heartbreaking story, an absolute tragedy among tragedies. I ordered that the watch, the Constellation Edition, back when it was first released.
Yep.
And like, yeah, I really think this game's gonna be fun. I'm bought into the hype. Give me early access. I'll pay $400 for this stupid edition. And the thing didn't even show up until September 1st, maybe September 2nd, something like that. But I still wanted to play it early. So Yarden helped me out. I got the digital, the premium edition, kind of like the Game Pass upgrade, if you will. And Ryan, I have since returned my watch edition, my Constellation edition. I opened it. I said, thank you, Best Buy, but no, thank you. You missed your chance. You had your shot. And I was tempted to like kind of put it on Craigslist or Kijiji.ca here in Canada. I didn't do it, man. I was tempted to, but I did not do it.
Good for you. You took the higher road on that one. At least
I'm
like
just lazy.
But here's the thing, it's one of those things where you might have been able to get it for a higher price, but honestly, it probably would have been pretty close to what you would have gotten. And the hassle, Sean, probably not worth the extra $20 you might have made off of it.
Huge hassle. And by the way, the thing showed up partly opened. Like it arrived from Best Buy, like with one of the stickers like off. So
of course it did.
Just an absolute thanks. Better luck next time, Best Buy Canada. Okay, so it has been GameStop that's been in my poop book for a little while. Now it's Best Buy. Best Buy, Ryan.
See, I actually ended up canceling mine, Sean, because I never actually ended up receiving it. Not because it wasn't going to get here in time, but because I talked about this on Twitter a little bit. Most of my collection is actually going to be going in the next, couple months. In fact, I'll be talking about that more on the Pants podcast this week.
Fair.
So as a result, I ended up canceling my Starfield special edition. In fact, pretty much any special editions I had coming in were canceled at this point. But there was one or two I couldn't, so those will come in still. But everything else is kind of getting canceled at this point. So, but I did play it as well. But I'm in a much different, camp as you, Sean, where real life got in the way a little bit this week. And I'm also playing another game that I'll tell everyone about on Monday. So
okay.
It's one of those things where I just haven't had a ton of time to play Starfield. So I'm only like 10 to 15 hours into Starfield.
You're not that far behind me. I'm like 21, 22 hours in. And it's an interesting thing. This stat often gets tossed out, especially when talking about gigantic games. But honestly, Ryan, I feel like that number is almost irrelevant, to a certain degree, because you can go in any direction that you want to with this game. And depending on what you do, like you could spend 20 hours straight doing like a certain path, whether it's story or flying in space or just resource collecting or meeting a bunch of people and picking up a bunch of side missions, whatever it is. You can do crafting, all this different stuff. It depends on like kind of how you want to spend your first couple hours. So last week on the show, Donnie and I, we did the whole, like, we didn't have early access. We didn't have review access, I should say.
Yeah.
And so we went through a lot of the reviews. I was kind of seeing what people were upset about, what people were enjoying about it. Now we have an opportunity to talk about it from our own experience. I spent, Thursday night right after the show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, basically like 5 days just going hard into this game, Ryan. And I've had sessions where just before recording the show over at twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live, I was just flying around planets, shooting down bad guys, stealing their stuff, locking onto their laser systems, onto their shield systems.
Are you sure you were shooting them down and as opposed to the reverse happening?
Most of the time I was getting shot clear out of the sky. That's fine. But thank you for embarrassing me live here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
But I ain't getting embarrassed because I'm having a great time. And I could probably spend the next 15, 20 hours just doing space missions, Ryan. So yes, from a high broad level, I'm actually really, really enjoying this. But I think we could get a little bit into our nitty gritty thoughts here, because I had to get over the first couple hours, certainly the first day. I really had to get over a number of things as far as how I had clearly been setting my expectations way out of whack. Like the game in my head was maybe the impossible game. It's possible that I had impossible expectations, but I'm proud of myself because slowly but well, not even slowly but surely, quite quickly, actually, it became apparent that Starfield is not what I thought it was going to be. It is, everybody has said it, it's Fallout in space, it's Skyrim in space.
It's literally that.
But I think that's okay, because you know what, dude? I love Fallout. I think Fallout's a great game. I'm not revising history like so many other people are, where they enjoyed Fallout 3 especially. But people have let like the whole crafting thing. I know you don't like Fallout 4 as much as other people, but it's as if Fallout isn't a good model for a game. And it turns out it is, because this is that times infinity and beyond. And I'm happy, man. I'm very happy. I don't want to play anything else. I'm playing my Switch on the bus, but that's for a different show, the Nintendo Drive.
Yeah.
But Starfield is clicking with me, man. I'm happy. I'm a very happy boy.
Well, pretty soon when you get your Steam Deck, Sean, then you'll be able to play Starfield on the bus.
I have zero plans for a Steam Deck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna like feign interest. I'm not even gonna pretend. That's not happening.
Same here. Honestly, even like, because I'm moving soon, and one of the things that'll probably actually end up happening is I'll probably have like a longer commute depending on where I move. And when that happens, like, I'm still not going to get a Steam Deck. I'll probably actually no, because at this point I'm probably looking at just bringing my analog pocket everywhere.
Oh, nice.
And playing like old games, or bringing my Switch everywhere, and that kind of being my experience instead. Or Switch 2, because we've been hearing about Switch 2 this week, Sean. So it's one of those things where, I'm eyeing that a little bit.
Yep. For the first time ever, we got some Switch 2 rumors. That's
never happened before.
Mm-hmm,
never happened before.
Yes.
But I want to quickly tee up, because you got to tee up, your starting experiences for Starfield. And I want to kind of tee up mine a little bit, because
tee it up.
Mine's a little bit different, where it's one of those things where, first off, I'm about 10 to 15 hours in. I haven't even completed mission 1 yet, where I should say I got past like the opening tutorial mission. Okay. I got to the first quest marker you go to, and then just went in the other direction and did other stuff. Okay. Where I of course did the Ryan Turford thing, and kind of started my own crime empire.
Nice.
Murdering everyone I see, and having Sarah scold me all the time because
she wouldn't like people. That. Yeah.
Well, nobody likes that apparently. And out there robbing, like pickpocketing people and stuff, or breaking into banks, like all kinds of things that you normally wouldn't do in video games. But that's just the Ryan Turford way of playing. But I found though that the game just wasn't really gelling with me as I played through it. And I've heard from a lot of other people that maybe it's just you need to get farther in with the main story as to for the game to kind of gel with you a little bit more, or to really get into it or get the most out of the game. But I think I was thinking about it in the shower the other day, Sean, where I do my best
shower thoughts.
Of course. And I had a bit of an epiphany, and I realized this about myself, because it's something that I'd never put together before. So I really liked Oblivion, and I really like Fallout 3. I think those games were very fun, but every time I've tried to go back to them, I've never really I've never been able to, get back into those games at all. But every game that's kind of released since Fallout 3 from Bethesda Game Studios, I've liked less and less, or just haven't really been into. And I mean, I've been very vocal about this, so this isn't really brand new information if you've been listening to the show.
It stings though.
No, but I mean, like Skyrim, I barely played past the main campaign in Skyrim, or with Fallout 4, same kind of deal, where I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't just the crafting. There were other things, but it was mostly the crafting stuff that kind of turned me off with that game. So I think I came to the realization, Sean, that I just don't think that Bethesda Game Studios games are really for me. And you know what? That's okay. Because I think I see the quality in this game, and I see why people like this game a lot. Like, I think if you love space exploration and just space in general, like a certain co-host of mine, you will love this game a lot. Like, because it is like the ultimate like space game, like the real life, especially like real life space, or the closest to reality that we would probably imagine having like a space exploration game like this, which I think is an awesome thing. Cause a lot of times when we get games in space, they're like super sci-fi with technology that, they kind of just make up. Whereas in Starfield, everything feels like it's really grounded in a way that all the technology in the game feels like it could actually exist in reality. And so again, I see the appeal for Starfield, and I'm still, sticking with it, hoping that turns me around a little bit, but I'm just not feeling it. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing I did with Elden Ring, Sean. I'm giving this game 30 hours. If it doesn't, win me over in 30 hours, I'm kind of moving on at this point. But there are some quests I've really liked in Starfield that maybe we can talk about at a future date when we got to do spoilers. Because I know, for example, you were doing one of these quest lines on stream. So I think you already, one of the ones I'm referring to. It's actually very Fast and Furious-esque, which I really enjoyed, where you're like going undercover in this certain organization. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome. But there's just a lot of stuff really about Starfield that's just not doing it for me, especially because like, I just feel very detached from a lot of the locations in Starfield in a way that I wasn't with a game like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim, for example, because you were kind of like in the continent, or sorry, the country of Skyrim. So you get to know all the places, whereas I'm just basically teleporting from place to place in space, and I'm not really getting to know any of those places. And maybe it's just I need to explore a little bit more. But I don't know. That's just not really ever really been my game. Like I've never really been like the exploring type in games where I like to just go to a random place and just to see what's over there. Like that's just never really been my thing. So I think that plays into it a little bit.
Yeah, it would.
I think that's a lot of the appeal here, where you kind of have to make your own fun a little bit with a game like this. And that's just not my thing.
I think that's what you can find on the VODs. And I don't know, maybe we should move things over to YouTube at some point, but like, that is kind of what's happening to me with this game. Is I'm playing it, and just as I'm talking through what's happening, like the streaming experience for me has been very positive. And that's not necessarily always the case. Like sometimes it can change. Streaming can change your experience with the game. I think there's no doubt about that. And this one, it jives with me big time, man, because I mean, definitely want to highlight one of the nights that I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but like I was in a particularly space-esque mood, and we got to fly to another star system, and went like, I don't know if this is a real star. So let's just head over to their wikipedia.com, look up the star, and wouldn't you know it, real star, real binary star system. And we just went down the rabbit hole, man. We're like, what kind of star is this? And it's all there. I wish it was a little bit more in the game. I kind of wish that I wasn't having to go to Wikipedia to it, but to your point, finding my own fun with that. But like I could honestly talk about this game for 6 hours, I think, Ryan.
Oh, probably. I prepared other notes for the rest of the show in case we didn't have stuff to talk about, but we don't need to talk about that if we don't want to.
Well, I just don't know if, like, I don't know. It's I'm surprised. I mean, I knew you hinted on the RPG cave that you might have some hot takes about this game. So I'm not completely caught off guard that you didn't really love it. Yeah. But it's a weird thing to, I don't know, wax poetic in front of somebody who just like doesn't care. But maybe I'll just send my own 15-minute video about this game like you did with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I actually loved watching you stream this game, Sean.
So
because
fun.
I loved seeing how much you were enjoying it. Like I thought that actually in a way made me appreciate the game more. Than I did just playing it by myself. And I also heard from a lot of people that are also kind of down on this because this Starfield is way more polarizing than I thought it was going to be going into it, where a lot of people either really love this game or just despise it. And a lot of the feedback I've heard is if the game's not gelling with you, you should play through the main scenario because the features that it unlocks are some of the best parts of the game. Yeah. So I think that's maybe what I do. So like over the weekend, because I'm going to have plenty of time to play this weekend, Sean. I think that's what I'm going to do is kind of devote like my next section of gameplay just to do the main scenario and kind of see where that goes to see what people are talking about, because who knows, maybe that turns me around at least a little bit on this game. I'm hoping so.
It gives you something to like kind of grasp onto because certainly it's a double-edged sword because the game, you can obviously explore and do almost like whatever you want to, but that can almost be not very rewarding if you don't really loop it back to anything at all. So I do think that that's where this game has an edge if you allow it to sink in a little bit. And the main storyline, like I was worried. I wasn't interested in it at all. I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't think like Sarah was all that compelling to start with. I thought the boss you had at the start is completely lame, and the scenario that starts things off. Like my first couple hours, we streamed right after the Xbox Drive last week. Donnie was chatting with me as well. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know about the premise. You and I talk about this all the time. The premise is so important to me. That's why games like Xenoblade Chronicles is so impressive to me, because I love that premise. I love the premise of The Last of Us as an example. So I was worried that like we didn't really have a solid foundation to really lift off from. Pardon the pun. It's going to happen. So I was a little bit worried, but so I avoided the story missions. It was Court Lalonde who said, "Do what is it? Into the unknown. Into the unknown is the mission that changes everything. If you think the story is not really going your way, don't judge until you do Into the Unknown." And I know that probably sounds a little bit like the game gets good after 10 hours. I don't know if it takes you quite that long to get there.
But you know what? I was listening to Jeff Grubb's show this week, Sean, and he literally said the same thing. Like exactly word for word, same mission and everything.
Oh yeah, I don't listen to Jeff Grubb, but this isn't going to be like me cracking the egg on anything. That's just the way it is. Like it should come on the box. Actually, just be like, look. Yeah. If you're questioning anything, like go do that one, because then it all starts to that's what I mean. It gives you something to latch on to. It gives you something to look forward to as well. For me with RPGs, Ryan, it's sometimes I often forget that the main story missions can like progress it in a way that is much more meaningful than the side missions. And Into the Unknown did exactly that. And I found myself doing that with like Dragon Age, especially Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect maybe to a lesser extent, because the side missions were very impactful, especially like the companion missions in Mass Effect 2 and those kinds of things really changed the game. But I was surprised to go back to a main mission and go, oh, it actually changes the game, Ryan. Yeah. Like it. So you don't even know. Okay. You don't even know until you
because that was really like, and I think part of the reason why I know a lot of people didn't jump in, myself included, was that, you know, the whole, like the main stories were always not great in previous Bethesda games. So it was never like, that was never the path usually to go down, was to do the main scenario quest first. So
well, the thing is,
I think that's great advice.
The thing is, what I started to kind of see in the early hours was same old Fallout, Skyrim, like factions. And it just felt like you get into this lodge, Sarah takes you to this place, you're part of Constellation. This isn't spoilers, it's just the basis of the game. And you're surrounded by like 6 people. You know, they're like, oh, you're going to be joining Constellation. And here's like 4 people all around this lovely mansion, almost, this lodge. But I'm like, this feels too scrappy to me. Like, this is the galaxy we're talking about. There's thousands of stars and planets. And I guess this is all being head up by like 4 people who want to make a difference. Yep. You know, like it's different than like going through the Capital Wasteland and a bunch of ruffians kind of leading a rebellion. Like that makes sense. So I was really worried here that on top of all the menu stuff and inventory management that has probably been beaten to death, which I absolutely agree with, it was really tricky dealing with the overall user interface. That is a huge
Well, you got to
bummer.
calculate your mass, Sean. It's all about calculating mass.
Oh, dude, I think it was Dan Stapleton, tweeted how somebody was talking about how different, depending on the planet you're on, with its varying gravity, right? Like some have more gravity than Earth than others. And depending on that, the bullet shells will either fly off your gun as you're shooting it, or they'll fall to the ground really, really quickly. So clearly gravity has this impact on that, or your jump pack and things like that, but not how much you can carry. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, no, it's so true. Yeah. Because they go out of their way to base it on mass. How much you can carry is based on mass, which of course would be less impactful in a low gravity environment. So, I mean, everybody knows that, Ryan.
If you go, 300 times gravity, like Vegeta trains it in Dragon Ball Z.
That's what I was thinking. 900 times. 900
You drop an
Gs.
apple in there, it'll fall through the
Heck
ground
yeah.
because it's so heavy.
Well, and to that point, maybe that's where they made the decision not to do that, because as nice as that would be on a low gravity situation, you have like a wrench in your pocket and that's all. And then you go to a planet, you can't walk because the gravity's so intense.
Well, you can't hold any guns because
that's
way
probably
too much.
a good choice.
Yeah.
So
Well,
some choices.
I saw a reply to that tweet was like, we didn't do that because it was fun not to.
Kato says my brain hurts. Yeah, we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up here, Kato.
I mean, how does anything exist, Kato? How does anything exist?
Look, Garrett Bland was chatting with us as I was streaming this, testing me on the periodic table of elements, Ryan.
Yeah.
what is
That's what made it into the thumbnail.
That's what's there. Like I'm having you said it so well. I'm having my own fun with this game.
No,
like I really am.
I've been really enjoying watching you play, Sean, because I think
it's so good.
That's really, again, put things in perspective for me and see how the game can be enjoyable. But I don't know. For me, even with RPGs, because as much as I love RPGs, I kind of crave structure in games. I'm definitely much more the linear person than the open world person. Like a game, I don't know, like the original Final Fantasy or Ninja Gaiden is way more appealing to me than something like The Witcher 3 or Fallout 4 is, because of how the game is structured, where it's very linear. Like I'm much more of the type of person that's into linear games, and whenever I want to play something that's non-linear, I don't know, I'm just always in the mood to, I would almost rather just play a game as service game at that point, like Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft or something like that. Like that's just been my MO for a long time.
But Ryan, you would be missing out on one of the best characters in video games today, voiced by none other than the legendary Cissy Jones. Andreja is best girl. Holy crap, she kicks ass. She's got mystery to her. She's not going to take up any crap from anyone. She can handle it herself, but like maybe she could use a little bit of help. Maybe there's a friendship to be had here. Just incredible. And I was worried about characters in this game. She's not going anywhere. She's going to be on my ship the whole time. And there's just wild things that are happening, dude. You go to one planet. Hopefully this isn't a spoiler for people, but there's like actual dinosaurs over there.
Yeah.
What's that about? And go to Earth, by the way. If you haven't played this game, you guys go to Earth. Okay.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. And just check it out. And there's things that you can go find there.
Earth in one of the trailers.
Well, there you go. I don't know. Like I was surprised to see it.
But spoiler, Sean, it's not the same Earth as what's actually in the game.
Oh, you blow it up.
You maniacs.
You maniacs. Yeah, there's just a Statue of Liberty in the sand.
I love how you talk. You're talking about this companion that you love, Sean, and how you love that she's hanging out in your ship. I just scare all the companions off because I murder too many people, and they don't like that. They end up leaving. They're like, we need to talk. You're killing too many people and I can't deal with it. I'm like,
the Muffin Mon jumps into the carpool real quick and says, are you guys role playing as anything in particular? A space pirate, a space cop? What's your background and traits? I'm absolutely blown away by Starfield and love hearing how everyone else is tackling their character. Ryan Turford, are you a space cowboy?
I'm just kind of playing as a goddamn psychopath in space.
Ryan's an absolute terrorist. Just in
pretty
space.
Much.
Ryan's a space terrorist.
I talked about it before the game. I started to play the game, Sean, but if there was the option to attach a Death Star laser to your ship to blow up planets, you better believe I would be the one going around destroying the planets.
I think it's in there. I think it's going to happen.
Oh, probably. But to answer Muffin Mon's question, my background is, and I had to look this up because I couldn't remember it off the top of my head.
I can't remember mine.
Cyberneticist was my background. Because I love healing myself. I like lasers, and I like, taking down the security. And my traits I've kind of been building my character with like a very charismatic, but also like stealthy kind of build, which is kind of what I do in every Bethesda game, where I can talk myself out of situations. I can lockpick all the locks. I can hack all the computers, and I can kill people in stealth. Like that's kind of always been
that's a good build
jam in these games, and that's my build this time around too. Although I will say, Sean, because I loved how there were reviews saying that this is the most glitch-free game in history from Bethesda, because I was all excited, Sean, because on my last playthrough I got a sniper rifle for the first time, and I was so excited because I love sniper rifles.
I need one of those
video games, especially in Bethesda games, especially when you're playing stealthy like me, because I have like a really good stealth attack bonus.
Yeah.
So I can pick people off from far. But there's only one problem with the sniper rifle, Sean, is that whenever you actually zoom in using the scope, it turns behind your character like it does a 180 behind your character. So I'm actually looking backwards. So in order for me to use the sniper rifle, I then have to you zoom in with the scope and then turn my character around in order to see the enemies.
That is crazy. You know what? It's funny you should say that. And you're playing on Xbox. We should mention there's a question about this as well, but you're playing on Xbox Series X. I'm playing on PC almost exclusively.
Little caveat, Sean. I actually am playing on both.
There
are times I'm playing on PC and there's times where I'm just like, I don't feel like turning my computer on. I'm just going to play on Xbox.
That's fair.
We've actually been going back and forth, and it hasn't been too jarring because on my PC, I think I told you this before when we were streaming the first day, but I'm able to play it at 4K 60 on my computer at high settings.
Nice.
So, yeah, my PC does a pretty good job with this game. But just sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like turning my PC on. I'm just going to play it on Xbox.
Well, the cross save is so good. When we tried playing this the second we were able to, and I had the whole like the error, you're too early, and so we were doing all this stuff like re-downloading and all these other things. So I ended up playing on Series X first, which had me playing with a controller, and to the point about the UI being what it is and menus and everything. I can't even do it. The VOD is there. My brain broke playing this game with a controller. I'm like, I just can't do it. I need a mouse and a keyboard. I need to point where I want to go and all these different things. So that's all to say. I had the game crash a couple times. I don't know if it's really a huge thing to really report on. Also, I've played almost exclusively on stream. Yeah. Right. So I don't think that I've played this game too much in a sort of natural state. It's always broadcasting. So I've got that little bit extra strain on the PC, but I just before the show and the stream tonight, there's an upgrade to your targeting system you can get on the ship that allows you to almost like a VATS kind of system target the various components of an enemy ship, their shields or their lasers and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And
so if I got too close to a ship while targeting them like that, then when I exited that view, I would go into some sort of weird, like, Sandra Bullock from Gravity tailspin, just like spiraling out into space kind of thing. You know that movie, Ryan?
Oh, I know.
George Clooney was in it.
Oh my God, that's quite the pull, Sean. I was not expecting.
I love that movie. Oh my gosh, they got those extra long shots. Oh, dude, that movie. They have like these scenes where the camera doesn't cut for like 9 minutes. It's crazy. It's so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so good.
There was something I was going to say, and now I forgot what it was.
UI.
Now I'm a little bit
playing on Xbox, playing on PC. Cross save is excellent. That's the point I was trying to make.
That's a good point.
I went almost instantly. Didn't have to really think about it. I was playing on Series X, and then the PC game was ready, and I loaded it up, and the save was there, and it's perfect. And nothing else does it like that, you guys. It's so seamless. You don't even have to think about it. Yeah. Kato says, I hate space so much. Man, we are so opposite. I love space. This is so good.
Yeah, this by the way is probably the most Sean Capri game I've ever played in my entire life. Like, this game was like made specifically for you and no one else,
and it works. It totally works, man.
It works unless you're using a sniper rifle, or there are some funny glitches. Like actually, in the very first tutorial mission where you're walking through that place at the beginning, like the mine shaft.
Yeah.
I'm walking towards this one miner because you're escorting someone else and they're like talking to miners as you go. And the one miner, as soon as the person walked up to him, they like started to slowly fly up through the ceiling and then flip through space. And then the person I'm next to is talking to them, looking straight up to the ceiling to try and tell them, you're doing a great job over there. Keep it up.
I love it. I love it.
They've already floated through the ceiling. They're gone. You can't even see them anymore.
That's great though. I don't know. Like I don't hate it. No, I don't hate those kind of errors.
Stuff like that. Like that's fun.
Those bugs are okay.
Because believe it or not, people have been talking about the game crashing a lot on Xbox or on PC, and honestly, I haven't had any technical problems with the game. Again, besides not being able to use sniper rifles properly, I haven't had any technical problems or problems with the game in general.
I'm telling you, man, you're going to have to contain me. Now, I want to say, because I am obviously having a very positive time with that. I'm having a ton of fun. But Ryan, why can't, and maybe I'm missing something, you can't mark your inventory as junk. You can't mark this as like something that you can just collectively get rid of at a vendor or anywhere. You can't just like tag something. This is a standard RPG thing, isn't it? There's a lot of standard.
It is. And yet they chose not to do that this time.
Yeah. You don't think it's coming?
No, I don't think they added it all. Or they could. They could conceivably add it down the road, but no, I don't think it's anytime soon kind of thing. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that you can just send your items to your ship's cargo bay directly from your inventory. So like you do have that option available to you if you need to get rid of some stuff easily or quickly. But you're right. Like it's kind of annoying to go one by one, which of course has just made me not pick up as much stuff or just resist.
Totally. Same here. And people were commenting like, why aren't you getting all those mugs and all these things? I'm like, dude, I don't want to manage it later.
Yeah.
Now you can do like within the category. I think one of the biggest things that has weighed me down that once I realized how to manage that, then sort of like pro tip, is resources. You're going to pick up a bunch of like iron and nickel and all these other things, and they're heavy. They add up very quickly. So you can store all resources, and that it's very freeing.
Yeah.
If when you see that number
go
go
from
from
have a button for that at least.
Yes, that is nice. Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah, I wish that they did that more with some of the weapons, which brings me to another point, Sean. I don't love the idea the favoriting your weapons and
same.
assigning them system, because at first I didn't even know what you were supposed to. I thought you were just supposed to go in your inventory and just switch between your weapons all the time. Like the game doesn't make it super clear that you're supposed to favorite them in order for them to appear in like the quick menu.
Yeah,
but even that, I think it's like,
I lucked out.
I wish there was like a change weapon button.
Same, just flip to the next one. Totally. Yeah, like that. I mean, I could see it working with both, but I think this is a standard experience for most people. Like you start out the game with your No Man's Sky laser gun, like you're mining minerals and rocks and whatever. You're shooting things with your laser, and then enemies show up and they're like, pick up this gun, and it doesn't switch to the gun.
Yep.
Like you have to actually go in and equip it, and it's almost like, because that's just the game. That's the way it's built from the DNA. It's not like Doom where you're going to run over a weapon. It's going to auto equip or anything like that. That's just not the way this game is built. So from right then and there, you realize you're going to have to be managing some stuff. And that's why I'm at a PC. I'm leaning into this game. I'm not sitting back and kind of just taking it easy. Like I'm inches away from my screen playing it and managing it with my mouse. But yeah, it's troubling, but it's not insurmountable, I guess.
No,
if you start to find the fun, you overlook these things. But for my first few hours, I'll have to admit, I was really worried I wasn't going to get over these things, because I can hold a grudge like nobody's business, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like Best Buy, I've not forgotten. Okay. I've not forgotten.
Never forget. Also then, Sean, what's more likely, you pre-ordering something for Best Buy or GameStop then?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I think it might just be Amazon at this point. Maybe the whole, I don't know, but
it's too much.
Not good.
Retailers.
Not good. I think the main missions are good. I think there's side missions, Ryan, that have side missions baked into them, which is great.
Before we go any further, Sean.
Oh, okay.
Taylor/TPR/Trevor says, how do you guys think the game introduces side quests? Do they come up organically and engagingly, or do you have to make an effort to seek out opportunities off the beaten path? Also, how is the Series X performance for Starfield? I'll answer that in a second, but I wanted to bring that in since we were talking about side quests anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you will accidentally mount, I don't know how many. Just
too many.
A ton. Yeah, and of all sort of like walks of life, like obviously main missions, story missions, side missions. There's these activities, Ryan. This is where I get a little bit frustrated.
You mean like the activity where every single time I leave my companion on the ship, it's like, here's an activity to go retrieve your companion every single time, and it bugs me all the time. And I'm like,
oh, I haven't seen that.
I'm like, well, that's because you don't usually leave people behind because you're not.
That's true. That's true. They come with me.
Because my character has a trait for being like a loner, so I actually get bonus damage for not having a companion.
Xavier in the chat says, I just found out how to save the guns as favorite, went through 12 hours. Was like, oh, that would have been helpful. Yeah, definitely. It's elegant once you set it up, like across the D-pad, you press up a couple times and you can kind of sort things out. That's nice, but also just switch to the next gun also would have been good.
Yeah. But anyway, circling back around to side quests and activities. First of all, I actually like that the side quests, the way they're structured, where it's like you don't have to go to find some random quest marker and that then starts a side quest and then you go from there. I like how it just organically ends up in your inventory, kind of like, Mass Effect 1 did with the elevators.
Totally. Yeah.
But I don't, every time I see an activity, I just don't care. The activities,
yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like it depends on how you look at things. There's so many different ways we could take this, but I was wherever, New Atlantis, one of the main kind of areas, and I wanted to be able to sort my missions by like what's around, what's close by, what's on this planet. And you
Mhm.
can't really do that with the mission log that lists all the different activities, but you can like zoom your map out to look at the planet and it lists it that way. So I guess you just have to learn how information is presented because it's not as malleable as you might want it
Yeah.
to be. But
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wanted
Like,
to do things that are like, while I'm here, what else can I do? You don't find that information laid out very clearly in the log. But my main problem with the activities, Ryan, is because you can amass them so almost accidentally, you don't know what the hell they're about.
yeah.
And so they just list the thing that you're supposed to do. There's no, like with the side missions and the other, like the faction missions and all these other things, there's a context that comes around with this. Like Sarah told you that you want to do blah, blah, blah. So go to this plan and take care of it. The
Mhm.
activities are just like, go talk to Sam. Like,
Just cuz. Just go do
all
it.
right, like what's going to happen there? Like, where is he? Why it seems like a miss. And I just, this is my grudge on that. Maybe I just won't do activities, you know?
Yeah. Again, at this point, I'm just like, I see an activity pop up and I just keep walking. I
Yeah.
don't even really
I
think
talk
about
a
them
big
anymore.
game. I'll probably do the activities, but
Oh, probably. I'm, believe it or not, Sean, and you might not believe this yourself. Somehow I see you spending like 100 hours with this game plus.
yeah, I probably
Just
could.
it being like your game for the rest of the year kind of thing.
Mhm.
Besides, of course, some games that are coming up like Mario Wonder and stuff.
Mario's coming, Spidey's coming. I want to be. I finished reading Craven's Last Hunt to get ready for Spider-Man 2. So yeah, there's definitely other games coming, but this game does hit. But I would feel completely disingenuous if I was just, this is the best game ever and space and I'm flying around. Like there's definitely, especially in those early hours, some frustrations that I had to get over. But now that I kind of have, and especially after Into the Unknown, man, I was not expecting that. Do you know what happens, Ryan? Do you know what I'm alluding
No,
to
I'm
here?
not even. I haven't looked up any spoilers or anything.
Yeah, people should do that. You should play that before you, if you have this game, and now it's on Game Pass, so everybody's got it, which is also bonkers. This is a Game Pass game.
Well, yeah, actually, one of my news stories tonight was Starfield's a hit. Over 6 million players have played Starfield, with Phil Spencer confirming over 1 million concurrent players across PC and Xbox. So 1 million players playing at the same time across both platforms, making it the biggest launch in Bethesda Game Studios history ever.
Yeah. Which is kind of nuts because they used to put it on PlayStation too.
Right. Oh my God. Just seeing all the people that are actually like making like the custom Starfield PlayStations,
Yes.
or playing it with like modding in the Sony like startup
I
screen.
thought they
On
had
there.
gaming
Like, guys,
PCs,
so
Ryan.
weird.
I thought like they were like, why do I need an Xbox? I've got a gaming PC. Just play this game on PC. You all have
That's
one
true. People say that.
already.
People say
They
that.
did say that.
Real quick, I want to bring up the last Starfield question we have. Oh, actually, yeah, I'll touch TPR's question in just a second. But Stingray X asks, I saw someone make the Magic School Bus as a ship. What kind of designs are you guys planning to build? I'm thinking of building a gummy ship from Kingdom Hearts myself. It's one of those things, Sean, where I looked at the shipbuilder and it reminded me a lot of the crafting in Fallout 4, and I'm like, no thanks. I will go and steal the best ship I can steal, because that's my game, instead of actually making the ships myself. So I'm not going to build any custom ships.
Oh, dude, I want to build like real ships. I want to build like real rockets. I want to do the Saturn V if I can. I want to go Starship. I want to do as much as I can. Dude, if I can make something look like a Volkswagen Beetle, I'll do that as well. Like I feel like I've kind of partitioned that out in my mind for another time. Like I was flying around in space earlier today, taking down bad guys, but that's for like, it's almost like a different game in my mind. Like right now I'm playing it a certain way, but I do have to go over to the ship field and start to do it in a different way. So I will get there. Gummy ship, I think, Stingray, I don't know if you know this about me, but and I love you, man. I love that you love the gummy ship. But the gummy ship was the thing where I shut off Kingdom Hearts. That was the moment. I'm like, this is awful. Like, what the hell is this? As Donnie would say, absolutely not. So the gummy ship is not not it for me. That doesn't sing to my heart.
It just it doesn't hit with the nostalgia with you like it does so many other people.
Oh, dude, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm more likely to make
chat.
I'm more likely to make like the ship from Ratchet and Clank than making the
Oh,
Gummy
that's a
ship
good
any day of the
call.
week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I saw somebody build the Normandy. There's a Millennium Falcon out there. Some really great classic ships. Can you do a USS Enterprise? Those kind of things. But can I build my house, Ryan? Can I make my
Probably.
house a log cabin house? I think that'd be
Well, I
great.
think you can actually build settlements, so you can actually build the log cabin house on an actual planet rather than building it a ship.
And can you not do like space stations and stuff as well? Like
Probably.
I've barely started. I'm almost a full day of game time into this thing, and I've barely scratched the surface. And that is, I'm going to say it's exciting at this point, because I'm sure at some point it will be like, it might feel overwhelming. It might feel like I'm not getting anything done. I haven't quite got there yet. I had, like I said, a very fortunate opening weekend with it where I got to dedicate just an absolute ton of time. I very rarely get that kind of time with a game. But dude, like I love this question because it brings up the point that the game is starting to kind of live a life of its own on the internet. And I don't want to get to like, Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing, but kind of in that people are sharing their own unique experiences, and that if they think that they can do it kind of thing, that's really cool. And that's how it spreads to 6 million so quick, but also because like space is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So there you go, man.
Well, yeah, I'm much more inclined to go look at someone's picture of a ship they made on X versus actually wanting to make one myself. Like,
that's fair.
So,
yep, that's fair.
But actually, just circling around, I forgot to answer this from TPR's question. He asked about the Series X performance. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, again, I haven't really had any problems with it crashing. And honestly, if you can deal with the 30 frames instead of 60, like if you don't have a fantastic PC, I honestly think it's still a good way to play the game. Like I'm not really finding any problems with the combat playing it at 30. So it doesn't really bug me as much. Otherwise, I probably would only play on PC and make it more of a concerted effort to do that. So yeah, I think it performs well on Xbox.
PC's all over the place though. Yeah. Like that's the trade-off. And I think there'd be much more yelling and screaming, honestly, if what was happening on PC was happening on Xbox. Like if you went from 90 frames to 45 or whatever, like it's just the fact that it's locked and it stays fairly close to 30, I think probably was the right choice from what I could see. Would I have loved for it to be just at 60? Obviously, just, that would be great. But given the choice and given my experience on PC, Ryan, when you go from these high frames and even just like a dip of 10, like you feel it and it doesn't, it's not great. So we're still figuring out, or we're still waiting for, I should say, some sort of like NVIDIA card support it's called DLSS to even out the frames a little bit, and which would reduce the resolution if needed. So we're waiting on that on PC, but I'm still having a great time, dude. Yeah. I am flipping back and forth between keyboard and mouse and controller. When we're flying in space, I got a controller. When I'm walking around and dealing with my menus and shooting the guns, then it's a keyboard and mouse. But Ryan, speaking of guns, I like the guns. I like shooting the guns. I like, I feel like this feels like first person The Division in a way. I think the guns feel cool. I have an awesome shotgun, which feels incredible. I got my jetpack and I'm coming death from above, shooting dudes in the temples right on top of their stupid heads. And I got to tell you about this one mission, Ryan. It wasn't even a mission. I think it was just some sort of like planet I landed on, some oil rig, and everybody's dead. I'm telling you this, man. It's not a spoiler. I mean, maybe it is, but it's so random. Hopefully it doesn't ruin anything.
Yeah, just randomly find the oil planet, whatever it's called.
Exactly. You show up there and it's like, it's a little too quiet here. And you walk in and there's some alarm going off and there's bodies everywhere and there's blood and scientists trying to make like emergency calls and they can't do it. So you steal all their stuff. And then you realize that it's basically Starship Troopers outside. And there's these huge aliens, these giant face huggers, but they're way bigger. And it's just a great little discovery. It's not a story mission or anything, but you get there and you discover something has happened here. And I just really, dude, I don't know. I could go on and on about these kind of encounters, but I had such a great time clearing these stupid Starship Troopers, insect aliens out of this and avenging my fallen brethren at this oil rig, man. They deserve better. And I got there too late. Oh man, if I only got there a little earlier.
True. And actually, I'm glad you brought this up, Sean, because I have one little nitpick I'm going to mention here. Man, there is not enough ammo in this game for the amount of enemies it's throwing at you constantly. Like in a lot of situations where it's like you just get the wrong type of ammo and you don't have the right type of gun per se on hand. But I just find like there's a lot of missions I've played through where I'm fighting a lot of, alien creatures as an example, but
Who
they're not
aren't
dropping
carrying
ammunition.
guns. Yeah.
And there's no ammunition in the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like left to my own devices with my melee weapons.
That happens.
So like,
yep.
I don't love, I almost wish there was more ammunition in this game. Cause it's not like it's a survival game where I didn't go into this expecting having to scrounge for ammo, but I'm finding that a lot of times, or I'm relying on the mining laser from the very beginning of the game, Sean, because it has unlimited ammunition.
You got to change to right. You got to pivot a little bit, which is such an apologist kind of a fanboy thing to say. But you get like, if you're running into that situation, you're like, go do something, go find something else in the game to do. But you're right. And I found myself in that situation as well. And it's not really all that fun. Totally understandable. The one thing I will say though, Ryan, and we can probably end up talking about Starfield over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. But I'm a little excited about it. One thing though, to my whole creating expectations in my head for a game that probably is impossible. I don't know if it's still out there. I obviously haven't explored even like a percentage of the thousands of planets. I feel like somebody actually said this though. There's no other sentient life out there in the galaxy. That's kind of a bummer. There's all these monsters and basically like Fallout version of monsters. Like there's these giant rad scorpions or those kinds of things. But I kind of wanted to like find non-humans.
Right.
And I don't know if it's I'm still early out there.
Maybe that's something that happens, later in the story or something. I don't know. Yeah,
we'll see. But I'm having a great time. I'm having a lot of fun.
Maybe there's no aliens, Sean. Maybe the US Army was lying to us earlier this year when they told us aliens existed.
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but something's happening. Something's happening.
Things are happening, John. Well, I think that's going to do it for our Starfield conversation. I think, unless there's anything else you want to get off your chest before we move on to our final two questions of the night, Sean.
Oh, I wanted to talk about the side missions. That TPR asked about the side missions.
Sure.
One I had, and I think you were watching me stream this one. Talking to Trevor. He's got just this outrageously stereotypical Australian accent, and he's in some, I don't know, labor camp of some sort. There's a bunch of mechanical work going on around him. He's like, he's got some work for you. Sets you off on a side mission. And as I'm trying to finish this side mission, I got arrested for something that happened at the beginning of the game. I got hauled off and go do this other side mission. Then I go, okay, wait a second. The last thing I knew before I got arrested here was I was talking to Trevor and I was trying to figure out his side mission. So I go all the way back and I go, got to finish his task. I do the thing. And they go, well, actually, in order to finish this, you need a job. You need to go apply for a job. You need to fill out Indeed.com here in Starfield.
That's
go
what
do
landed
that.
you in jail because you tried
it
to
was
get rid
it
of
was
the
unrelated.
competition.
That's what we thought, but it turned out it was unrelated, and it happens to everyone. It's something that you do at the beginning of the game that the space police pull you down. Like it's story related that you end up getting arrested, I guess. So I don't know if that's a spoiler, but it happens. It was not related to what I was doing at the time, right? It just so happened that they chose that moment to go haul me away. Anyway, in order to complete this one part of the side mission, I also have to go kind of blackmail somebody else and go do this whole side mission to the side mission. Then once that's complete, I can come back to the thing, finish my job, steal the thing, make Trevor happy. And I just thought like I was doing this one little bit for Trevor. And it was probably a 4-hour endeavor, man, when all said and done. So I don't know, this game, whatever I want it to be, it seems like it will be in a lot of ways, whatever experience I want to have. I think in the next week, I'd love to come back to you and talk about how I've just been like going through the stars and shooting down bad guys and improving my ship. I want to have a faster ship. I want better lasers and missiles. I want to have a better experience there. But dude, like what else could I want? What else could I ask for? But it's super fun. Loving Starfield.
Again, it's the perfect Sean Capri game. Like if you're
it's not perfect.
Like Sean,
definitely not perfect. Lots of problems, but
you know what I meant.
I'm very happy. I know. I just want to make sure people I want to make sure I'm being clear in this because it's not. I get the reviews. I understand the criticisms. I understand if there's things that people can't get over. For me, it's the allure of space that has me not ignoring them, just I guess foregoing the problems and things like that.
Like the positives outweigh the negatives.
By far, totally. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, because like I said earlier, like the main reason why I'm not feeling is not even really the game's fault. It's more just I think my gaming tastes have just changed over the years, and that just happens as you get older. So like just your taste and everything change. I mean, there was a time, Sean, where I didn't like music from the 80s, and now that's like some of my favorite music is from the 80s.
There was a time where I thought tomatoes were disgusting. Because you know what, Ryan? I remember the first time I ever bit into a tomato and I thought it was going to taste like an apple, but it tastes like a tomato. And that's jarring. That's jarring. Okay. And now I love tomatoes.
That's a traumatic experience right there, Sean.
Yeah. It's all juicy and stuff.
Good God. Well, Sean, real quick, we got 2 other questions that are not related to Starfield that I want to make sure we get to before we sign off for the night. First up, from Yarden, what will be the name of the next Xbox console? Believe it or not, Sean, I think we got a similar question to this a couple months ago because I remember us brainstorming names before. And I think that for me, honestly, I think if I'm going to be realistic and not think outside the box, I actually think the next Xbox console will be called Xbox Series with insert letter here, like Xbox Series XX or something like that. If anything, so we'll be like step. So we'll be one step closer, Sean, to Xbox Triple X, just like the hit game on the original Xbox, BMX Triple X, which of course was the famous mishmash of BMX biking and porn. So there you go. That's a history lesson for the original Xbox, Sean.
I really thought you were going Vin Diesel on this one, but okay.
No, I mean, that's what I think they'll call it. Like, I think they like that the console is now just called Xbox, and then they're going to have like different version numbers, almost like what Apple does with the iPhone. Like, I think that's the direction they're kind of transitioning towards. But what do you think about this?
What do you mean that's what they do with the iPhone?
Well, I mean, the iPhone numbers them, but I mean, like,
yeah,
I know a lot. There are other phone manufacturers that do this similar thing where it's like it's like the name of the phone, like Galaxy, and then they'll call it like it won't be a specific number. I
don't like it. I want a number. I want them to skip right to 10. Just go to 10. There's Xbox 10.
But customers will get confused thinking that it's a worse console than the Xbox 360 because 360, Sean, is a bigger number than 10.
So 361, I guess.
Yeah. Or 720.
No, 720. Dude, the 360. Like the people they didn't call it an Xbox, and maybe that was the problem that Microsoft had with it. Like people called it a 360 all the time. What are you doing? I'm playing 360. Well, I don't know. That was the nomenclature around here anyway.
It's so many less numbers than the number of letters in Xbox.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think like Xbox 10, I think that would just follow whatever Windows is doing.
Yeah.
If we're on Windows 11
now.
Yeah, just
Xbox 11.
Xbox 720p. I don't know, dude. It's nonsensical now. Like any answer honestly could apply because like there's no structure to it. There's nothing. So whatever you want it to be called. Make it called the Direct Xbox. Just bring that back.
It's true. In fact, they have like I don't know if you ever played it, but in Ninja Gaiden for the original Xbox, Sean, you can go to this alleyway in the 3rd level, and if you know how to jump properly with a bunch of these wall jumps, you'll go to this secret area. And in the secret area on this podium is the Direct Xbox, like the original Xbox design with Direct Xbox written under it, which then gives you like a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Nice.
Like it unlocks like the Ninja Gaiden on the NES as well as some other cool stuff. But that's a cool little tidbit.
I like it. I like it. Tech is weird to name.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation, they crushed it, man.
I mean, it's almost like Xbox should have done the same thing and just numbered it.
But then we wouldn't have had the 360. If you had the Xbox 2, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Super Xbox.
It works out for that Xbox 2 podcast, Sean.
Xbox Ultra.
Yeah, Ultra Xbox. Or super Xbox or something like
Collector's Edition. Yeah. New challengers. just copy Street Fighter.
The slogan, of course, will be now you're playing with power.
Turbo Edition.
Ultra power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Nagachaka asks a question that is mostly from me, Sean. but it's about you. So Nagachaka asks, now that I've finally rolled credits on Persona 5 Royal, of course, congratulations, Nagachaka,
On Game
for rolling
Pass.
credits on Persona 5 Royal. I can say with confidence it was one of the best RPGs that everyone needs to play. So the question is, when will Sean play Persona 5 Royal? And specific question for Ryan, knowing Sean's personality very well, who do you think Sean will romance in Persona 5 Royal? So I have
the gym teacher.
So, well, you can't romance him. I have a bit of a read on Sean when it comes to the characters he likes to romance in games. Like he likes to romance kind of like the either the like the feisty characters or the character, you know, like the Chie kind of character, like the character that takes like no guff from anyone. Like you like a strong woman, I think, Sean. Or one that, you know, that also isn't afraid to, you know, let her guard down a little bit. And also is just super cool to hang out with. I feel like that's kind of your type. So
pick me up over your head. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Toss me around like a barrel from Donkey Kong.
So believe it or not, while it might seem like a boring answer when I say it, if you've never played the game before, this is a character that I actually think Sean would really enjoy, knowing the characters that he likes. And it's actually one of the first women you meet, and that's on from the beginning of the game. Like your first female companion, because she seems like she's a character that doesn't have a ton of depth when you first meet her, but as you get to know her, that like she reminds me the most of that Chie kind of archetype.
Okay.
That I actually think that, you know, might appeal to Sean in many ways.
Well, it's funny because I have played maybe a dungeon or two, definitely like wherever the gym teacher is. I think is that the first one?
That's just the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. I might have made it one past that on PS5. I have the Steelbook, man, because I really do like Persona 4 and I enjoyed my time with Persona 5, but it must have been just us doing an Xbox show that pulled me to some Xbox game at the time. So it is on the list. I actually have it installed at the moment, thanks to Game Pass. I really, really would like to get to this game. And Ryan, that's exactly what I thought of
that's just the way they pronounce it in the English dub. So that's just what I'm going with. You can say Anne as well.
I thought it was, you know, and I do have love in my heart for Rise in Persona 4.
Yeah,
it just felt like too given. It felt like too much of it. Like, of course, you know, she's this idol, but like, of course, she like is into you, like this, which isn't that the character's name? Is you like YIU?
You?
Yeah, so good. It just seemed like too, I don't know, obvious. So Chie it is for that one. I thought that was going to be what On was about, but if there's something more there,
well, that's also like I kind of also thought you might like On, because On also has a little bit of Rise in her character as well.
Okay.
Which I know you kind of like too. So it's just like,
Rise was good.
Because like, you know, Makoto reminds me a lot of Yukiko from.
Oh man. I know Garrett likes Yukiko. Like, dude.
Yeah. A lot of people like Makoto. She's like a lot of people's favorite.
And she's like Yukiko. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
She's similar personality.
So boring.
She's like she's the serious one. She's serious about stuff all the time.
Get away from me.
There's also like, I don't know. I feel like there's a possibility you'd also like Futaba. Futaba is like the gamer hacker girl.
Okay.
That likes to just spend all her time in her room. She's very much a Ryan Turford type of character.
I mean, we hang out a lot, so yeah.
There you go. Like I think you might like her a lot. Yep. And then you get Haru, who's like kind of like the rich girl. But she again has a lot to her character as well. Like I usually date Haru as well.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, at least that's what I did in the base game, and then I romanced the new character in Royal, because I also really like her a lot too.
What is this world we live in, by the way, Ryan? Persona Starfield on Game Pass, on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, it's even crazier, Sean, when we got that Tokyo Game Show broadcast announcement earlier this week, where they talked about, we got a whole bunch of games from Japanese developers coming to Xbox that we're showing. Some are announced and some that are not. And also a bunch of Japanese games coming to Game Pass like the same day. So like, that's going to be awesome. Like that's something we wouldn't have seen a couple of years ago.
Look at Xbox.
Like I'm actually excited to watch that show at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on
I will not.
September 21st.
I will not be doing that.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. Well, good question, Nagachaka. I like it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight's Xbox Drive. Honestly, we could probably keep talking about Starfield all night, but we gotta save
More
some
next
material
week.
for other shows.
More to come. Mm-hmm.
Also, it's one of those things too where I know I'll be talking about it with Garrett as well. I'm sure on RPG Cave.
Heck
So
yeah.
we might even have something we're going to talk about this week with Starfield. Wink, wink. So there you go. But anyways, Sean, before we go, Sean, plugs go.
Oh, the end. You can find. Oh, snap. I have a couple things that I want to do at this part, Ryan. I'm running a half marathon this weekend. By the time people listen to this, I might have already done it. So I want to thank everybody who donated. By the time we record the next one, I'll read off a list like I did on the Nintendo Drive this weekend. So thank you to everybody for donating to that. I want to draw people's attention to Extra Life. Join the Discord. We've got a channel there. We're talking all about it. Extra Life. I will be there at Rome, New York. Seth will be there. Ryan, I think, is coming. Yes,
I'm
Ryan is
pointing to myself.
Ryan is coming. We're going to be there. If you want to find out how you can join us and our efforts, we are part of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Go to extra-life.org. Search for Phoenix Overdrive. You can see us there. I guess I just let that cat out of the bag.
Or I will also refer people to phoenixoverdrive.com is a good place to go too.
That's a good place to go. You're going to hear much, much more about this. Just wanted to plant the seeds, as it were, at this point. But dude, it's less than 2 months away.
Which is crazy to think about. But and also patrons also got an early look at this because we talked about this. Like this was the big topic on BTS that went up this
Indeed.
week.
Yes. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, joined us, getting the hype train going. We're going to have great prizes to give away like we do every single year. Extra Life is a big deal. We take it very seriously. The fundraising we do is very important, and we do for a great cause, and we have a great time. It's just a rallying of the community. It's kind of we get to show the best of us. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. You can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And I think that is all I will tell you tonight, Ryan Turford.
Ooh, well, that's for me. You can find me on X at Ryan Turford. You can also find us on X at Carpool Gaming. We're also right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. And of course, podcast services around the globe. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 307 of the Xbox Drive, and we're out. Bye.
We also forgot to plug twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming live, where I'm going to be streaming a whole heck of a lot. I don't know what else anybody else is doing over on Twitch, but that's something you can look up for. And I'm back, and it's good to have Ryan back. We'll see you guys next week. Bye. Bye.
No power greater than X.